That's a great piece of memorabilia. How's Gaza doing, by the way?
Yes, no, he's doing well. Obviously, he's had a number of problems over the years, but he's been sober since the start of the year, so that's always a very good sign.
That's what football's all about. Many years along, and your teammates are still standing there by you.
Yes, well, yeah, but Paul's got a very good heart, and he's had a lot of problems over the years. So I was just kept him for his time at Tottenham, and still having to look after him.
That's fantastic stuff. It's good to hear, Gary. Thanks a lot for joining us again this afternoon. And I note by the England jersey that Gaza wore proudly next to you there that we have a confident Gary Mabbutt that England are going to turn it around and stay in the competition tomorrow.
Yes, I think things are quite buoyant over here. Despite losing to Italy, I have to say that normally I'm very frustrated watching England play. But from the very first whistle, they went at Italy, they attacked them, they took the game to them. I thought we had some excellent performances throughout the side. And if we can play in a similar vein against Uruguay and Costa Rica, I'm pretty confident that we will go through.
All right, because yeah, I mean, in contrast to 4 years ago, where you guys drew against the USA and everyone was climbing on the English backs, here they lose their first game, but it's been a very positive response to the way they played, particularly with the youngsters in the side.
Yes, I mentioned before the tournament that we've got a nice mix of experience and youngsters coming in, and every World Cup, a youngster will come through and and stake his claim. I think one of the Arsenal players, obviously Joel Campbell for Costa Rica, I thought he was fantastic during that match, and certainly I think England have got players that with Sterling, certainly I think really doing exceedingly well against Italy. And I just feel that, say, we've got a great team spirit at the moment, and that will carry you a long way.
One of the other things you'd notice about Uruguay, and I'm sure this didn't go amiss with the England side, is when they get behind or under pressure, they tend to get a bit of niggle going, and it could end up a game with 10 or 9 players the way they react to adversity.
Absolutely. And if you look at the Uruguayan side, there's not a lot there in that side that is a real threat. Of course, Suarez is coming back. There's no way he's going to be 100% fit for this game. It's a must-win game for both teams. I just think that we've got far cooler heads within our squad. I think we can handle situations a lot better. And as you mentioned, as soon as Uruguay start to go behind or start to struggle, there's a lot of hot heads there amongst their team. So I think it's a team that can be got at. I think a team that we can get the 3 points from and set us up very nicely for the last game against Costa Rica.
Gary, give us a bit of insight as to what goes on in the dressing room here. You're a former skipper, and you get a hothead like Luis Suarez. I kind of remember a guy like Eric Cantona when teams used to play against Man United. One of the key things was just to get under his skin and get him, because you know how passionate and how short a fuse the Frenchman had. And get him going, and chances are he might end up not on the field, which will give you a much better chance without a Cantona there. Do you guys sit there and go, right, Suarez, if Suarez is playing, they all know him. They play with him in England. He plays for Liverpool. They know, what he's about and what he's like. Does it become a tactic in the game to try and niggle him and get under his skin so that you do get a reaction out of him one way or the other?
Well, I think in cricket it's called sledging.
Yeah.
I think in football very similar things take place, and you can be sure. I think a benefit for England is the fact that the Liverpool players in the England side will know exactly the strengths of Suarez. I'm sure that will be all discussed, today in training, in the team meetings. How to try and nullify him, how trying to, there will be players there that will be able to wind him up. But I think that's what the games. I think every team you play against, you always look at the opponents. You know which players can easily get riled, and yes, I would say a certain amount of tactics will take place to try and nullify those players.
And Gary, from an England perspective and from Roy Hodgson's perspective, what does he do about Wayne Rooney?
Again, a lot of debate about Wayne Rooney. He was played out on the wide in the first game with Sterling in behind Sturridge. Sterling had a fantastic game with Welbeck out wide. There's talk now that really Rooney wants to play behind Sturridge. So whether I think he'll be considering playing Welbeck out wide, Sterling out on the other side, and Rooney behind Sturridge. Rooney to me has the experience, he has the knowledge, and he has the qualities, to do very, very well in this tournament. Everyone keeps talking about he hasn't done it in a World Cup before, but I think with all that pressure being put upon him, this is his opportunity, to stamp his mark on the game. And this is probably going to be his last chance. And I think that he will be selected. And I believe that he'll carry England through.
I just throw out a couple of names here. Sterling and Sturridge, who are very exciting. You've got Henderson. You've got Wilshere, Oxlade-Chamberlain. I think Walcott's still got another one in him. Luke Shaw, Barkley. You suddenly start throwing those names about. You go, forget about England this time round. But 4 years' time, if those guys can just carry on the way they've started, wow.
Absolutely. You've got Lallana as well.
Yeah.
You mentioned obviously the youngsters players coming through. Yeah, and again, we're looking at this as being a squad that's been selected to win this World Cup. Now, if that's not achieved this time around, the next European Championships, for the next World Cup, we'd have had a lot of players that would have gained a lot of experience at this competition, and that will stand us in very good stead for the years coming up. I think this is a very exciting young England side. Most importantly, the younger players, they play with that naivety, they play without that fear. The pressures don't seem to bother them too much at the moment. That will come in time, but having gained the experience this time around, it will put them in a very good position for next time.
Awesome, Gary. Well, just one final one. Is your irritation factor as high as mine about the fact that Cesc Fabregas is going to that other London lot? Probably not.
There's been a lot of talk about it. Could have been even better. He could have come to us.
Whoa!
But,
no, that would not have happened.
But no, he's a great player.
Yeah.
You'd want him in your side, but let's say I'm sure that there are a lot of Arsenal fans who are very frustrated at the fact that Fabregas will now be a Chelsea player.
Yeah, well, there we go. That's how it goes. Gary, thanks a lot for your time this afternoon. Good luck for tomorrow's game. We wish you all the best. It's going to be a
Cheers,
cracker,
guys. Thank
England,
you.
Uruguay.
Thanks,
Thanks, Gaza.
Thanks, Gary.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Balls.co.za